Ever get that feeling like your mental capacity is kind of like fixed? Like you're just born with a certain amount of brain power and that's it.
Well, get ready to kind of ditch that idea because we're going to explore something fascinating.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is that mental power, it's not like some, static thing, like a trait.
Right.
It's more about how you keep engaging with your mind, challenging it.
And that's where this article, The Constant Renewal of the Mind, comes in.
Yeah.
Right? It blows apart this idea of like fixed intelligence. And we're not talking metaphors, right? We're
Yeah.
talking like actual physical changes in our brains.
Absolutely, yeah. The article goes into this concept called neuroplasticity.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Imagine like your brain is this living, breathing thing, constantly rewiring itself based on your experiences and what you're thinking and doing.
Wow.
Every new skill you pick up, every problem you solve, it's like you're creating new pathways in your brain.
So if our brains are actually reshaping themselves when we learn new stuff, what happens when we get stuck?
Yeah.
Like in a routine, we stop pushing ourselves.
That's where the danger of comfort zones comes in. Without new challenges and information, those neural pathways, the ones we worked hard to build, they can fade.
Oh, so it's like a muscle. Like if you stop working out.
Exactly, it weakens. The article uses this phrase, comfort zones are like cognitive quicksand.
Cognitive quicksand. Whoa, that's a powerful image.
Right.
So staying comfortable could actually be like dragging us down mentally.
That's the idea. And it connects to this other concept the article highlights, unlearning.
Okay.
Unlearning. It's not enough to just keep adding new information and skills. We have to actively challenge the beliefs and habits that might be holding us back. The old stuff.
Unlearning sounds really hard though. Isn't it just as difficult as learning something new? Maybe even more so. Like where do you even begin?
You're right, it takes effort.
Yeah.
And self-awareness. One strategy the article talks about is paying attention to moments of resistance, like those I can't statements we make.
Oh, you mean like when we say, I can't learn this, or I'm just not good at that?
Exactly. Instead of accepting those as facts, the article suggests a shift. Change I can't to I can't yet.
I can't yet. I like that.
It opens up possibilities.
It's like just changing how we talk to ourselves can change how we think about things.
Right. And it ties in with that forever beginner mindset the article talks about. Always be open to learning.
So there's actually scientific evidence for this whole lifelong learning thing.
There is. The article mentioned the study about bilingual brains.
Oh, right. I think I read something about that. People who speak more than one language, they have a delayed onset of dementia, right?
Yeah, 4 to 5 years on average.
Yeah.
That's a real benefit to keeping your mind active throughout life.
Wow.
Learning languages, it forces your brain to adapt and make new connections, which builds cognitive reserve and resilience.
So it really is like giving your brain a workout.
It is. And the more you challenge it, the stronger and more adaptable it becomes.
And it's not just about languages, right?
Yeah, not at all.
It's about any new skill or experience.
Absolutely. Learning an instrument, picking up a hobby, even exploring a new genre of book or film, it all contributes.
It's about embracing feeling a little uncomfortable sometimes, pushing ourselves.
That's it. The article talks about encountering new ideas, especially ones that challenge us. It can create this feeling called cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. That sounds kind of unpleasant.
Yeah, it can be, but it actually means your brain is growing and making connections. It's a mental wrestling match that forces you to rethink things.
So how do we actually make this constant renewal thing part of our lives?
The article talks about mindfulness and journaling.
Okay, mindfulness.
Yeah, think of mindfulness practices like meditation as a way to declutter, to make room for new insights.
And journaling, how does that fit in?
It lets you get your thoughts and emotions out. By writing things down, you start to see patterns, identify limiting beliefs, even brainstorm.
Huh, so they both can contribute to this ongoing renewal.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, who actually has time for all of that?
Well, that's a valid point, but even small efforts can make a difference. That's what the article says.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to spend hours meditating or journaling. Even a few minutes a day can be a great start.
Right, it's about being consistent.
Exactly, making it a habit.
Yeah, and finding ways to fit it into your routine without getting overwhelmed. So it's about like weaving these practices into your day,
Yeah.
right? In a way that works for you.
Exactly.
The article also brings up some really cool case studies of people who like totally get this whole constant renewal thing.
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk, Frida Kahlo.
Right. It's so fascinating how these two both like super successful in their fields approached reinvention in these totally different ways. Like Musk, with all his companies, PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, he doesn't seem to see expertise as like specializing in one thing.
Right.
It's more like he sees patterns.
So it's not about being like the best at one specific thing. It's about seeing the underlying principles and applying them to like anything.
Exactly. He's like the ultimate forever beginner, always pushing boundaries and looking for new challenges.
Always disrupting things.
Totally.
And then you have Frida Kahlo, who took a much more like personal and introspective approach.
Yeah.
She turned all that pain and hardship into art. It's incredible how she used it to explore her identity, deal with her experiences, and basically reinvent herself.
Her art became a vehicle for that renewal, a way to deal with those external challenges, but also the stuff going on inside.
So both Musk and Kahlo, even though they were so different, they show us that constant renewal doesn't have like one definition.
Yeah, there's no one formula.
It's more of a mindset, a willingness to embrace change, challenge yourself, whatever that looks like for you.
Right.
So for our listeners out there, which one speaks to you more? Musk's drive to innovate or Kahlo's self-reflection through art?
Maybe a bit of both.
Totally. It's like figuring out what parts of their approaches resonate with you can help you find your own path.
Absolutely. But while we've been talking about all the positive stuff, the article also talks about the enemies of renewal, the things that can hold us back.
Oh yeah, the traps, the things that can pull us back into that cognitive quicksand.
Right. Like one of the biggest ones is this finished fallacy, thinking that at some point you've learned enough.
Like you're done.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm good, time to coast, which, as we've talked about, can be a real problem.
Totally. Coasting is like the opposite of renewal.
Another thing to watch out for is getting stuck in an echo chamber, especially online.
Oh yeah, those algorithms.
Exactly. They feed you the same info over and over, just reinforcing what you already believe.
It's so easy to get trapped in those spaces where everyone agrees with you and you never have to rethink anything.
And that's the opposite of what we want. Real growth comes from getting outside your comfort zone, hearing different viewpoints.
Makes sense. And we can't forget about burnout.
That's a big one, especially these days.
Right. Always on, always connected.
Constant renewal takes energy. If we're not taking breaks and resting, we burn out and resist growth.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Pushing yourself, but also giving yourself time to recover and process everything.
Exactly. Balance is key.
The article also has some practical tips for making renewal a habit.
Oh yeah, some good ones. Like the 5% rule.
Oh, what's that?
Spending 5% of your day, like an hour, doing something totally new, something outside your work or normal routines.
So like a software engineer could spend an hour learning about art history, or a musician could read about astrophysics.
That's the idea. Shake things up, expose your mind to new things.
Cool. What else?
There's also reverse mentorship.
Reverse mentorship. I haven't heard of that.
It's basically getting advice from someone younger than you or from a totally different field.
I like that. It challenges the idea that older always means wiser.
Exactly. And then there's sabbaticals.
Oh yeah, taking a break.
Whether it's a whole month or just an hour each day, it's about making time for reflection and exploring new possibilities.
Sipping back to see the bigger picture.
Exactly. And then we have cross-training, which we talked about earlier.
Right, using skills from one part of your life and another.
Yeah, like using musical skills to improve your presentations or your athletic discipline to approach creative projects. There are so many ways to do it.
So many possibilities. So, out of all those tips, which one resonates with you the most?
I think for me it's sabbaticals. That time to step back and recharge feels really important.
Yeah, I get that. For me, I think it's the 5% rule. It feels doable, but it can still lead to some big changes.
It's amazing how these small things can make such a difference, right?
Totally. Speaking of big changes, the article ends with this interesting paradox. It says that embracing change and uncertainty can actually make you more stable in the long run.
That is interesting. Seems kind of counterintuitive. How can constantly changing make you more stable?
Right. It's like saying the key to strength is actually being okay with things being in flux.
The article calls it being anti-fragile, like a system that not only survives shocks, but actually gets stronger because of them.
So instead of being afraid of change, we should welcome it, see it as a chance to grow.
Exactly. Think about a time when you went through a big change. Maybe a new job, moving to a new city, a personal challenge.
Yeah.
It was probably tough at first, but you probably came out of it stronger and more adaptable.
Like going through those tough times is what helps us build resilience.
That's the idea. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about learning to handle them.
And that's what's so cool about constant renewal. It's not just about learning facts or skills. It's about developing a mindset that's open to change, seeks out challenges, and sees setbacks as opportunities to grow. So it's not about avoiding those tough times, it's about learning how to deal with them.
Right, and that's what's so great about this whole idea of constant renewal. It's not just about learning facts or skills, it's about this mindset, being open to change, looking for challenges, and seeing setbacks as chances to grow.
Yeah. So to wrap things up, what's like the main message here?
The big takeaway is this. Your mind isn't just like a fixed thing.
Okay.
It's constantly changing and evolving, and it has so much potential.
Right.
And real mental power. It's not about what you already know.
It's about being willing to learn and adapt and challenge yourself.
Exactly. And the article ends with this quote. It says, "The day you stop reinventing your mind is the day you retire from life."
Wow, that's powerful. Like, it reminds us that this whole journey of mental renewal, it's a lifelong thing.
Absolutely. It's not about reaching some destination. It's about the journey itself.
And to keep that journey going, the article leaves us with this question. What is the sound of one thought evolving?
Oh, I like that.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It makes you think about those little changes that happen in your mind all the time, like becoming more aware of your own thoughts and how they shape things.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, what really stood out to you? What made you curious? And what are you going to do, even if it's something small, to keep this whole renewal thing going in your own life?
Remember, your mind isn't limited. There's so much to explore.
And those unexpected discoveries, those are the best part of the journey.
I agree.
Keep being curious, keep those thoughts evolving, and never forget just how powerful this constant renewal can be.